They say that love is pure and generous. It's not small and selfish.
My name is Richard Dix, and this is How Did That Happen? A podcast where I look at everyday things or events and try to figure out how they came to be. Every week I will research one topic, and by the end of the episode, I hope to truly have the answer to the question, how did that happen? Alright, welcome back to another episode of How Did That Happen? I am your host, Richard Dix, and this is the podcast where we try to find out how things happen, break them down to their very foundation, and just try to figure out how they came to be. What the whole point of this is what you could call a very special episode of the podcast, only more in the quotes of being very special. I don't know if people have noticed, I haven't posted an episode in the last about a month or so, and I don't know, I wasn't sure quite how to approach this, but I had been going through something, and I just couldn't bring myself to come to the microphone. My dad died about a month ago, and it was really, it's been really difficult. And when it happened, it just felt, just pointless. It didn't feel right to come back and just try to talk about facts and how things happen or any of that stuff. It just didn't feel right. And so I was, putting it on hold for a little bit, not knowing what to say, not knowing how to come back to it. And so that's been where my head's been at for the past few weeks. But I wanted to, because I know this podcast does not have many fans, but it does have a few. And I've noticed that even without posting, I've still been getting downloads, and I appreciate that. Like I said, I always appreciate people that come back week to week and press play. I was astonished even in the last month without posting anything that has been, I think, somewhere between 40 to 50 downloads of people just coming back and listening to the episodes. So like I said, I appreciate that. And that's even one of the reasons why I'm making this small episode here, just to let you know what's going on. And I do intend to come back. I haven't quit on this or gotten bored with it. It's just I'm mentally, even to do this, I was really questioning whether or not it was something I wanted to do right now. But I felt not a duty, but it's just, I don't know, for the last couple of years, this podcast has been a mainstay in my life, and I don't think I'm ready to get rid of it just yet. I will be back, I would say before the summer, before it gets too hot. You'll be hearing from me again about, week to week of how things happen, because we're just scratching the surface on a lot of things that I'm really wanting to dive into. We're just getting current conflicts off the ground. That was a project that I feel like is going to be one of the next future arms of this overall podcast umbrella that I'm creating here. And I'll be candid with you because, I don't know, there's no reason to pull punches. So like a month ago, my dad woke my mom up in the middle of the night. This was Friday night, March 8th, 2024. And he woke my mom up in the middle of the night and was saying, basically through what she could barely understand, we need to go to the hospital. I can't breathe. Was the gist of it. He had been complaining of a sore throat for about the day before, maybe a day and a half, which was not unusual. It's very normal for him. And so they go to the hospital. They walk in together, hand in hand, and they wheel my dad back to the doctor's offices. I don't know, the ER, whatever the phrase is. And then about a half an hour later, 45 minutes later, they come out and tell my mom that he's non-responsive and is on a ventilator. He's been intubated, and they're checking to see what his brain functions are. This all happened, like I said, in a matter of about an hour from them driving there. The hospital's about 10 minutes from their house, maybe 12, and from that point to about an hour later, what they said happened is his throat had swelled up to the point where they couldn't get the tube down his throat in time, so they couldn't intubate him in time, and his brain spent something like 12 minutes without oxygen, and so they weren't sure, what he was going to have left as far as brain capacity goes when they took him off the ventilator, and so he and my mother had already discussed this prior to, not like recently, but they'd had all these conversations. My parents are very forward thinking. They've dealt with a lot of death in their life, so they don't they don't, they look at death as a very pragmatic event, where it's going to happen to us all. And they had a do not resuscitate. They had a DNR, and or as they call it in the business, advanced medical directive. But and it said if I get to this point, then I don't want to live like this. His words, his words that said that. It made it so much easier to do and to follow through with his wishes, knowing that they were his wishes. There never was a point in the week, because I'm burying the lead. We spent a week trying to figure out if he was going to live or not. After that Friday afternoon, or that Friday evening, middle of the night, Saturday, it went on for about another week of going back and forth. Are we gonna pull the plug? What's the chances of him improving? Do we even know how his throat even closed up in the first place? And truth be told, we're a month from that, and we do not know. We have no idea. Man's been dead for a month, and we still don't know really what killed him. So I say all that to say, just that's where I've been at. And once I can get my brain back in a place where I can positively bring, or at least bring positivity to this space again, I will, with a quickness. What I want to do before we get out of here, is I've been working on a little bit of another expression, another media expression. I'm not even sure how to describe it, truthfully. It's just, I had been working on recording my father to possibly write a book on him. This was a couple of years ago. Things happened with his health and my relationships and stuff. We just never ended up getting it nailed down. But we were able to get one conversation in. We were able to get one solid half an hour conversation about his, because my dad had been through a lot. He'd had multiple surgeries prior to his passing. He'd had a new liver he was given. He had 2 new hips. He had a lot going on, and that was the conversation. That's what it was about. And what I've been doing is, kind of, I guess, intertwining, kind of threading in my own thoughts post mortem, I guess you could say, with that in that conversation. And it's been a way that's been helping me kind of get through what's going on. So I'm gonna play a little bit of that for you right now, and then we'll go ahead and end this. And I appreciate you guys for listening to me drone for this long.
This call is being recorded.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So now we're on the record.
So I am officially being recorded.
You are.
Ain't that some shit?
Ain't it though?
The family, doctors, all included, thought it was pretty much proven that he was going to die if he didn't get a new liver, right? And that's not a guarantee. You don't walk into the Walmart store and just pick up one from the the raw food section and bring it back home with you. You gotta get on a list, and wait it out. And while you're waiting it out, if you wait too long, you just might die.
What's on my mind right now, man, is the liver transplant.
Okay, yeah, it is. What, your 8th? Yeah.
The 8th year. That's crazy.
It is.
So, I'm sort of celebrating. God is good and all of that.
Right.
And so I've been working on that. That's what I've been putting. Any time that I would normally put on the podcast, I've spent the last few weeks just kind of getting that together. I will release it here probably in the next few months, once I can wrap my head around where my life is at, and also what that even is going to be. There's a lot more to it, truthfully. I was recording throughout the process of all of this. I was recording my thoughts with him when he was on life support. I was recording even when they pulled the plug with him. And that personally right now is just for me. But once I can work through it and find, I guess, some positivity in it, I would definitely put it out, because I just feel like it's, I don't know, it's part of my life. And that's what I've realized even about this podcast is that, for better or worse, this has been a part of my life for the last couple of years, and we're just gonna keep pushing through. So that's it for this episode. Like I said, it's been a very special episode, not very long. I don't have a forecast for when this will be back regular. regularly. Is that right? But I wanted to put this out to let those who know and want to know and feel like they have, no one knew what was going on. That I haven't stopped, and I haven't, like I said, neglected this. I'm just in a space right now where I just don't feel like this is what I need. I just don't feel like I said I couldn't find a way to just talk about quirky facts when I'm trying to deal with what I got going on. But thank you for coming back. Press and play week to week. I still see you guys in the downloads every week, and it amazes me. Like that, I'm not even putting stuff out, and people are still coming back to find it. So thank you guys, and we'll see you when this returns.